said as small as possible. It's just weird feeling this and thinking this is going to be made into 2 loaves. Itty bitty baby loaves. A plain loaf and a garlic cheddar or garlic parmesan loaf, but she wanted them smaller. So we're going to use a smaller batch recipe that I have here. This is Eloise after her feed. This is 7 o'clock the next morning. We're going to go in with 90 grams of her, Miss Eloise. Go in with 285 grams of warm filtered water. Okay, and then we'll mix that into a nice bubbly slurry here. Then we go in with 400 grams of bread flour. My normal recipe calls for 150 starter, 350 water, and 500 grams of flour. So just a slight variation. Alrighty, so I'm going to mix this into a nice shaggy dough. I delay adding my salt for the first hour. Okay, good enough for me. We will let her rest for the next hour here, and we'll come back, add our salt, and take our aliquot sample. So we'll just cover her up, and then I'm going to start another batch of dough here for home, but I think I'm going to use Franny. We'll see. Eloise is happy too. We'll be back in 1 hour. After our first hour, and we're going to add our salt. That's how our dough is looking right now. It's just our water, flour, and our active starter. We're going to add 10 grams of salt here. I just incorporate this with my hands, and also consider this the first round of our stretch and folds. Woo! And just a little splash of water here. Water helps the dough, or prevents the dough from sticking. It seems like such a small amount of dough to do a double batch on, or to do, yeah, split into 2 loaves. We'll see how it works. We'll just build up some gluten strength here by beating her around. Alrighty. Last but not least, we'll take her temperature and figure out what size of aliquot sample we need to take. 77 degrees, we're gonna do 37 grams. That dough stuck to my hands. It's gonna be good enough for me. Put that in there and put the lid on. We will be back in 30 minutes to do our second round of stretch and folds. We are back for round 2 of stretch and folds. I've been kind of slacking today. Ooh, a little bit more wet than I anticipated. Slacking today on my timing, so a little bit longer than 30 minutes, but just doing a quick little round of stretch and folds. I wish I had one of those like little tiny Dutch ovens. I think that those would be cute to make like individual bread bowls. All right. Okay. Round 2, stretch and folds. That is good enough. I don't feel any more salt or anything that I need to incorporate. It's getting some structure. And we will let her rest for another 30 minutes. Come back and do another round of stretch and folds. I'm back for round 3 of stretch and folds on this smaller batch that's also going to be made into 2 smaller loaves for Faye. Garlic parmesan, garlic cheddar, something garlic in a plain one. It's getting warm here today. I've got bread in the oven, so this dough is going to move along pretty quickly, I feel like, because it's warm in the house and it's just going to get warmer as the day goes on. Okay, that looks good enough to me. 30 more minutes and we will come back to do our final round of stretch and folds on this smaller, but will be turned into even smaller batch of dough. 4th and final round of stretch and folds here. We're getting some bubbles going on. You can see with the fermentation process is going beautifully. It's about 72 degrees here now, just going to get warmer, and I've had my oven at 450 degrees for 4 hours today. So I expect this to keep moving pretty rapidly. So this is for Faye's smaller loaf order that she wants split into 2, just for reference, because I will end up doing the shaping in a separate video. So this is where we are after our 4th and final round of stretch and folds. And we are about 4 hours. Yeah, 4 hours into this process. Sorry, had to think about that. But we are just gonna cover her up and I will shape her in the next video. So that's where we are.